Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timmy Kemza James. So we are all welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to be showing you how to make this really beautiful kaftan dress. So we are going to be needing 3.5 yards of silk fabric. I'm using a Duchess silk, so I actually went for a very lightweight one that had the best structure. So there are varieties of fabric that can work just fine for these. You can also use brocade, and you can also use Mikado silk, which is the better option. So guys, I'm going to be using this really nice silk print. So this is what the right side looks like. You can see it's really glossy and beautiful. So I got this in 3.5 yard. And the reason why I got 3.5 yard is because of my length. I'm quite tall. So the length of my dress is 65 inches. So the number of yardage you need to get is your dress length plus your hemming allowance um multiply by 2. So my dress length is 65. So I'm going to be using both that 65 for the hemming allowance as well. Then I'll be multiplying it by 2, right? So that's around 110. So you divide it by 36, then you get the number of yardage that you need. So first things first, I folded it in half, you can see. So I measured 65 on the length of the dress, and I just folded it in half. So I have like 110 folded in two like this. Then I folded it like so as well. So this side is going to be the shoulder, and it's not going to have a cut around there, so it's going to be on fold. So this is what we have. So I just pinned that down to have it nicely. So we are going to be using a nice ruler. If you have a pattern master, that will be fine. A pair of scissors. Now I'll be using hemming gum. So if you don't have this, you can just use pins, but to make it really nice, I'll be using hemming gum. Then you need a lot of pins, and then a chalk for marking lines, and of course a tape. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is to come over to this side where the shoulder is, and I'm going to be marking. So I just folded it in half like so as well, so you can see like this, and I gave it a nice press, especially around the neckline and the shoulder, because those are the most important parts on these garments. So what I'm going to do is to mark my neck depth. On this side, I'm going to be marking my back neck depth, right? So I'm using 2 inches for my back neck depth. So I'm marking it 2 inches. Then my neck width, which I'm going to be using 4 inches, like so. So by the time I open that, that will be a total of 8 inches. So I'll go ahead and make my curve. Now on this side, I'll just raise it and mark that back depth on the back side like so, just so I can trace that off. So I'll mark this side. I'll raise it and mark this side as well as all this side like so. So for the front neck depth, I'll go ahead and mark it. So I want somewhere around there's a slit in the front, so I'll just mark it to be 6 inches. So I'll mark that 6-inch point. So I'm not going to cut this yet until I open it. So this is the first things first, right? So now we are going to be moving this fabric gently like so that we can mark our opening, our curves and everything around there. But before then, on this side, I'm going to be marking where I want those folds or those pleats around the shoulder downwards to be. So from this center point mark here, the center front here, I'm going to mark let's say, depending on how open you want it to be, so I'll mark 10 inches. So go ahead and mark 10 like this. Then after the 10, you determine how wide you want to fold it. So I'm going to do it by 2. I want a 2 inches thickness in the width of the pleat. So I'm going to mark 4 inches, because by the time I fold it, it will be 2 inches. So I'll mark 4 inches like so, right? So by the time I fold this together like this, it will give me 2 inches. So after that one, I'm going to leave a little bit of space depending on how much space you want on yours. that's what you will leave, right? So we have 4 inches here, so I'll mark the midpoint of that 4 inches, which is 2 inches. So I'll mark 2 inches, right? Now let's do the entire side of that one. So on this side, I'll move and mark the 10-inch as well, then the 4 inches as well, and the 2 inches. I'll just do the same thing till I get to the hem of the garment, right? So I'll mark, then I'll connect the lines like so. Mind you, I'm marking this chalk on the wrong side. Don't forget that the fabric is a silk material, so you have to be careful while marking it so that it doesn't move, as silk moves a lot. So as much as you can, try and get a silk material that is really lightweight. I do not advise using satin for this project. So because I'm using I'm actually making use of Duchess silk, but you can actually use any print of any satin material of your any silk material, sorry, of your choice. But I do not advise satin because satins are usually, the weights are heavy. So I'll just move back here, then I'll mark 2.5 inches away from this line, because by the time I fold this, this will overlap by 2 inches, so it will give half-inch space before the next one. So I'll just mark that here, then I mark another 4 inches for the second line, like so. So I'll just go ahead and do the same thing all through 2.5, then I mark 4 inches, then the middle 2-inch point. So just like I ruled this one, I'll just go ahead and do the same thing. 2.5, then 4 inches, then 2 inch in the middle. So for this one, I'm not going to draw it up till the hem. I'll just find a way to dissolve it back into this other one. As on the hem side, I'm going to make a cut to this side because it has that sort of cowl effect on this other side, right? So I'll just move this so that I can work on the hem side of the dress. So first off, I'm going to cut off, this is where my dress length is, so I'll just go ahead and cut that out. Then I'm going to start from here. I'll just curve it to somewhere around that side. So from the hem, I'll just measure like, let's say 21 inches. Then I'll make a mark from there. Then I'll just curve a line from here to go and meet the 21 inches point, like so. I'll just curve that line, then I'll go ahead and cut. I might just extend it more than 21. I'll just move it. So I'll extend it more than 21, guys, but let it be somewhere, let's say 25. So I'll just cut like so. So right now the dressing is in a triangular shape. So I'm going to cut out the neckline now. I just cut out the neckline. Then I'm going to transfer these lines on the back side of the dress. So I'll just flip this over so that I can make the same lines on this other side. So I'll just transfer these front lines to the back side, and I'll do that off camera, then I'll come back and show you. So at this point, when I open it, this is what it looks like. Let me move it. The table is quite small, that's why you can't see anything. So on that side, the hem, you can see the curve on that side. So now you are to go back in to the other side, the back side here, and retrace all of these lines. I'm also going to be doing that off camera, but before then, I'll be opening the sleeve, the neck on the front. If you want a round neck on the front as well, you are at liberty to do any neckline you want. But me, I'm going to be adding a slit to this neckline down to this point here. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So I'll mark it like so. You remember that 6-inch mark? So I'll just cut to that point. Then it was just 2-inch we took at the back, so 2-inch won't be enough for my front neckline, so I'll just add like 1 inch to the front. I'll just cut that by free hands. That's the depth of the neckline, right? So this is what I have now, you can see. So now you go ahead and retrace the back neckline. So on this middle line, right, that's demarcation of the 4-inch line. I'll go ahead and fold with this 2-inch matching this one. You can then go ahead and pin. You make sure that these 2 inches here falls on the 2-inch here, like so. Then you either pin or you just go ahead and give it a nice press, like so. So you just keep on checking. These 2 inches should match this 2-inch here. Make sure you're not drawing anything and it's falling naturally. So I'll just place a pin on that side if I like. So I'll just continue doing that. I just ended up moving it like this on the wrong side. I find it easier doing it this way. So it's just like you making pleats. If you have a steam iron, this is the right time for you to put it to good use. So I'll just raise it up like so. You can see I have my 3 marks, this creased line. So I'll just put my hemming gum like so in between the lines. Then I'll just fold it back. So you can see this is already glued and I can't move it easily anymore. So I'll just come back here and I'll continue placing my hemming gum. So when I lay out my hemming gum further, I'll just pick this other side and lay it on the 4 inch. So this middle point will be on the mid side as well. So when you get to this side, this is my shoulder line, don't forget. So I'll make sure that this crease line that I made from ironing aligns. That's very important. It's very important for you to align, guys. So most of the work on this dress is going to be the ironing, the drawing of the lines and the pressing of the dress to give you your design. If you need to sprinkle water on it, go ahead and do that. Jesus, Jesus Christ. Even that place where this fire. these two pleats. You can see the pleats, and this was where the iron picked it. So you have this crease line inside here, like so. So you can see underneath here there's a crease line, so you're going to be sewing on that line, and I'm going to start from the hem so that I can see the line properly. And another thing you should do is to adjust your stitch, your machine stitch length, so that it gets so that it will be it won't be too tight. So that's what you're going to do. Start and you back stitch. So I just picked one of it and I'm going to be sewing. Now you have to go gently because this seam line is going to appear on the front side of the dress, so you don't want it moving here and there. You want a really neat, clean stitch. Now you want to get a thread that is exactly the same as the same color and the same shade as your material. So I'm going to flip it over to the wrong side, like so. Then on the edge, which is around where the sleeve is supposed to be, you go ahead and fold it and press, just like you would want your sleeve to be folded. So I'll just sprinkle some water to enable it lie properly. So anyhow you would rather hem, that would be fine, but I'm choosing this method of hemming. I'm going to overlock before I stitch. Just from this corner where this curve started from, that's the curve towards the hem, I'll just go up from here like 2 or 3 inches. Then I'll start sewing till I close off the dress, and I'm going to leave a slit along the line. Whatever you want to do from there, it will be fine. So I'll just head over to the sewing machine, fold it in half like so. From the neck side, I'll just leave an opening for my sleeve, so I'll fold like so. Then I'll leave the sleeve opening that I desire, maybe from somewhere around here. I'll stitch down till where I want my slits to start from. So we'll head over to the machine and do that. So you find the shoulder line here, then you make sure that place is on fold like so, and you make sure you iron your sleeve like so, like the hem of your sleeve, like this. So you measure how wide you want your sleeve opening. You can see on the main dress it's really wide, so you go ahead and mark as much as you want. So I'm working with 15 inches, so I'll mark 15 inches. So from this 15-inch mark, I'll open the seam allowance and make sure the crease line aligns. So I'm going to be sewing on that crease line, that's the ironing line. So you make sure everything is nice and set. So from there you back stitch like twice, then you continue sewing. So when I was done sewing, I just stopped by the line where I wanted a slit. If you don't want a slit on yours, you can totally omit that. So I left a slit of about 15 inches on mine. So you can just decide yours really. So I left it on the both side, and when I was done, I went over to my overlocking machine and overlocked all my raw edges on the sewing machine. Then I went ahead to hem the dress totally, and when I was done my when I was done over hemming the dress, I was opportune to have my husband at home, so he actually helped me to iron this, because guys, you're going to need a lot of strength for the ironing, because it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes diligence, and you'll be ironing one fold at a time, and it was a lot of work and energy. So thank you to my amazing husband who helped me with that. So that was it about the dress. So here's the finished look of the dress. If you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, guys. Share this video with your friends, and please comment below any questions that you have. See you in my next video, guys. Bye.